and welcome to my channel. My name is Sasha Reade. If you're joining me again, I'm so happy to see you. I thought that I would carry on. Last week I did a video on when you only have half an hour, and I thought tonight would be perfect for that again. I'm going to probably do this until the end of lockdown because I generally only really have half an hour in the weekdays to kind of get out there and make something, and I think a lot of us are in the same boat. So I thought, let's carry on. I'm going to do some half-hour crafting with you, just to give you some ideas and inspiration for when you've got that moment to go and pop out and get creative. Maybe not pop out. I pop out because my office is in the garage. You probably just pop upstairs or wherever your office is. Or maybe you don't even have an office. Maybe you got a box and you just plunk that box down wherever you are. Whatever the case may be, let's get creative in our half an hour time slot. So I started out with cutting some card bases. I used some scraps that were in my scrap pack, and I measured this stamp here. And I just measured the stamp and then cut a panel and a base to kind of fit that stamp with about 1/4 of an inch around the edges. I've got my layering circle dies, which you'll probably see a lot of, these nesting dies. They're really handy. You could use a circle punch, trace around something circular, whatever you've got. I've got some low tack tape. You could use cardstock paper and some removable adhesive for this little trick. I'm just using this tape because it was on my desk and handy. So it's a low tack tape. It's basically post-it note tape, but for the whole reel. And what I'm doing is lining it up in the middle of my stamped image. Now, obviously, when I do the next trick, my bit of card's going to flop about, you'll see. So I'm adding some removable adhesive to the back of it. I'm going to close my stamping platform onto my stamp to get that little circle to stay in the middle of that stamp. I wanted to make sure that I had the middle of that portion kind of blocked out. And because it's symmetrical, it's quite easy to line up. So my stamp fits pretty much the whole area of that bit of card that I cut. I've got my mask there centralized. I can't put the magnets on, which is also another reason to use the removable adhesive on the back. I'm using these Altenew ink pads. I really like them because they have a graduated color, but I really wanted to have a pink that would kind of go with the pink that I was using on my card base. So I just picked up this pink because I thought it would match nice enough. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and then I'm going to take my platform, shut it, and stamp over top of that mask. So you can see there's little bits of gaps that I didn't quite get, which is why it's great to use a stamp platform, because you can just come in again and get the exact same position. Now I can lift that up just to show you, but I'm going to stamp my sentiment in a minute. We've got that lovely gap in the middle there where we can put a sentiment. Now I've also got this card here, which I'm going to move on to next. I decided to use just a card base, so if you haven't got the time to cut a top panel, you can do it with just a card base. So I've gone ahead and stuck some adhesive down as well and attached my little mask the exact same way as before. I'm doing the same thing. I've repositioned my stamp because this card base is a little bit bigger than the front panel that I just stamped. I can go ahead and remove the mask, and I've got that lovely center nice and white. So I'm going to use this hello here. I lined up with my die and found a sentiment that fit right in the middle, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in some black ink. You could use the darker red from the set, or you could use, there we go, there's me showing you could use the red, darker red. Whatever you've got in your stash, make use of it and stick it on there. So now I've got like a little front card, just a nice little note card that's got a little sentiment right in the middle, so it kind of makes it pop a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and stamp "You Are Fabulous," but this time I'm going to use that darker pinky red color so that it kind of coordinates. So what's really nice about these ink pads is they kind of all go together. You don't really have to think about it too much. So I've gone ahead and stamped that in the middle. Now that doesn't really finish off the card to me. I kind of felt like it was still lacking a bit. I think I'm a bit addicted to glitter, sparkle, bling, so I really felt like it needed something to kind of pizzazz it a bit. So on the hello card, I am taking my clear Nuvo drops. These are the clear ones with a bit of glitter inside. And I'm just going to add it to the tips of my flowers. You can't see it that well, but there are photos at the end, as well as some other versions of doing this card if you've got a little bit more time. And I'm also going to add on some gems onto this one, which makes it easier to see what I'm doing. And I'm just adding slightly bigger ones to the outside petals, and then the smaller ones on the inside petals. And that is my quick card. So both those cards took me about 20 or 25 minutes. I did have to pause in the middle because the kids were fighting and I had to come in the house. Or arguing, I had to come and check on them. But those are my two finished cards. Now, another option that you can do is you can remove that mask and stamp a different color in the middle. So on this one, I took a really light pale pink. These are the Distress Oxides. I've got the pale pink and I've got the purple color, which is on the screen. And I just stamped those on, and I used a bit of a sponge to kind of blend the edges of the really light pale color to kind of work it into the purple color. Now, on my next card, I decided I would spray it as well to get that color to bleed and react. The Distress Oxide is really fun, they react with water. So I sprayed with my homemade mica solution, so it was like a glimmer spray on this one. And that kind of finished off that card. I left it to dry a bit, but those are just another kind of fun option for you to use to kind of stretch your supplies or get a little bit more creative if you feel like it. I hope that helped inspire you. I hope that gets you in your office or your craft room or in your craft box, whatever you've got to hand. I will aim to do another one of these videos next week. I so appreciate you hanging out with me. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I would love if you hit the bell notification because then you'll see when I post videos. At the moment, I would love to be posting on a Wednesday and a Saturday, but I can kind of only really get there whenever I can. So I'll see you all again tomorrow night on Saturday for some more crafting. I've got another tutorial ready to go for you. Happy crafting. Bye.